From placing that one bet online, your life spirals into you lying about your child having a terminal illness and deceiving your entire family out of thousands. This is a tale of a woman who wove a web of lies so intricate it fooled everyone around her. All because of the most predatory platform on the entire internet: online gambling. Charlotte Blackwell's life seemed to be ordinary on the surface, just a normal 31-year-old estate agent from Bridgend in Wales. She earned a modest salary of around £1,700 a month, so about $2,000 American, and was raising 2 young children. And to most, she seemed like just another hard-working mother trying her best to support her family. However, beneath that facade, Charlotte was hiding a big secret. One so dark it could potentially destroy the rest of her life and affect the people around her. A life built on manipulation, lies, and fraud, culminating in multiple elaborate scams that preyed on the kindness of family and friends, and even charitable organizations, all of which we're about to discuss. In 2022, Charlotte Blackwell and her fiancé Daniel were in a relationship that seemed like it was heading towards a happy future. The couple had been together for 5 years before getting engaged in February of 2022. Soon after, they made plans for a wedding. Initially, the couple had planned to marry abroad, complete with lavish celebrations, a fairy tale that turned out to be as elaborate as a Welsh road sign. For Charlotte, this wedding wasn't just a dream. It was a way to fund her gambling problem and somehow manage her escalating debts. Between November 2022 and May 2024, the financial pressure intensified after one of her children was diagnosed with brain cancer, a situation that will tie into another scam that we're going to explore later on in the video. To cope with the financial strain of her child's treatment, Charlotte left her job and focused on staying at home, looking after her child, and developing a massive gambling problem that she thought would eventually help pay off a lot of these medical treatments. And obviously, as we all know, when it comes to gambling, it never really goes to plan. So during this period, she started crafting up a bunch of lies that would manipulate and defraud her family members and 3 of her close friends. Charlotte essentially asked them all for money and said it was for their extravagant wedding plans. Her fiancé's mother and the 3 close friends were obviously convinced with this fabricated story. Her fiancé's mother contributed £3,296, while the 3 friends together paid a total of £9,386. Tell you what, that's some good friends and family, that, if you ask me. This brought the total amount that Charlotte swindled from them to a staggering £12,682. Which some of you might be watching this video thinking, well, that's not too much money. I can assure you, for a middle-class family in the United Kingdom, £12,000 can do a fucking ton. But things didn't add up. In March 2024, one of the victims, Helen Morse, began to have doubts. She contacted the travel agency, TUI, using the booking reference that Charlotte had given her. To her shock, she found out that the booking reference wasn't for Charlotte. It was linked to a completely different holiday involving 2 elderly pensioners. For you non-British speaking people, some old people. Charlotte, however, wasn't ready to just give up this lie that she'd manufactured. She sent these victims fake booking confirmations, fake flight tickets. She even went as far as creating fake email accounts to make it seem that she was fully in contact with these travel agency people. That is just mental. Imagine if you put that effort into an actual, line of work. Maybe, you wouldn't be in this much shit. And when Helen Morse took the fraudulent papers to the local travel agency, she got a confirmation that they were indeed fraudulent. When the police eventually arrested Charlotte, she confessed to the crime. I'm sorry, it was to pay off debts and gambling. No, you mean debts caused by gambling, love. All right? Rereading this again. One of the gambling websites she frequently was on was an online bingo site. If you're gonna do it, no, I'm not even gonna get into it. million people. Spin some slots. Don't do that. Bingo! A desperate attempt to make money and pay off debts that she has accumulated. Remember earlier when I mentioned that Charlotte's child had been diagnosed with brain cancer? Well, to fully understand the impact this had on her actions, we need to go back a year before this wedding scam and delve into something a lot more disgusting. As you can suspect, she had committed another fraud prior. This time, one that targeted a children's cancer charity. In 2023, Charlotte manipulated a charity called Morgan's Army, a charity supporting families who have children with cancer into donating to her false cause. Charlotte had told the charity that her daughter needs an expensive treatment that can only be offered in Germany. The charity, believing her tragic story, responded with a generous donation of £4,000. This donation was sent to a GoFundMe that was opened by Charlotte because of advice given by Mrs. Riddler, who is essentially one of the founders of Morgan's Army. This is because Morgan's Army cannot give out direct donations to people just because they've said, oh, my child has cancer. It has to go through a correct form. Don't even know how to word it, but essentially GoFundMe has a way of, if it's fraudulent, you will get the money back. It's another layer of protection. Morgan's Army was founded by the parents of a young child who had tragically died from cancer. The charity, which provides support to families of children battling cancer, was devastated to learn that Charlotte had preyed on them at one of their most vulnerable times. Her story had slipped through the initial checks as they assumed her claims were legitimate based on a previous history of cancer within the family. The truth behind Charlotte's lies started to come to light after Mrs. Riddler, the founder of Morgan's Army, noticed something alarming. She explained that concerns were raised when Blackwell started reaching out to different companies and other charities that had worked with Morgan's Army in the past. Essentially, she was asking them to fund her GoFundMe. Riddler clarified, "Our policy is to not share GoFundMe links or ask people to donate through GoFundMe via our social media." She continued, "One company sent me a screenshot of a message from Charlotte claiming that I had instructed them to contact others and promised that they would donate to the cause. This is something I would absolutely never do, as it goes against our policy." The charity was able to recover these funds from GoFundMe because GoFundMe have a policy where if something is fraudulent, you will receive your money back. When Charlotte appeared in court, she sobbed, expressing deep remorse for her actions. Her defense attorney argued that she was going through a lot at this period of time because of her child receiving a diagnosis of cancer, which had driven her to a state where she felt like she had to gamble and get herself in loads of debt. Charlotte claimed she had since blocked gambling sites and was trying to move forward. She also mentioned her efforts to repay the victims, offering £1,200 to her ex-fiancé to distribute to the victims. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna fix it. That's only a tenth of what you took off them. That 12,000, oh, you're gonna offer 1,200 back. Brilliant. Essentially, her child at one point was diagnosed with cancer, but, going through the necessary means to get treatment in the United Kingdom, her child was eventually cancer-free and had recovered from this cancer, and she had then done what she did. Judge Jonathan Rees, KC, that's nice, quite a good name. Judge Jonathan Rees, KC, who sentenced Charlotte, condemned her actions as a pack of lies and called them shameful. He also noted that Charlotte had benefited from the fact that the wedding fraud and the charity fraud were dealt with separately in court. Nonetheless, the judge was willing to give her a chance, imposing a 12-month prison sentence suspended for 18 months. She was also ordered to pay compensation to her victims and prosecution costs. So yeah, she is going to pay that full amount back. Don't you worry about it. This is a devastating example of how gambling can destroy your life and the lives of people around you, just from placing that one little bet. Her story is one of manipulation and deceit, where family members and charitable organizations were left to pick up the trash. Her crimes left behind a trail of emotional and financial damage, reminding us of the fragile nature of trust and the far-reaching consequences of fraud. Charlotte's chance at redemption essentially falls on her ability to rebuild the trust that she has destroyed with everyone around her. A journey that will take time. I'm sure you know someone who has done something similar in their life. That trust can be rebuilt, and I do genuinely wish her the best luck at doing so. There wasn't a massive amount of information about this story online, but I think it's really an interesting one to talk about because it started off so sad with something that should have never happened to a young family. You know, the mother's actions led to something that was just as bad, if not worse, destroying more people around her. I know how difficult it is to have an addiction. I have so many, and so many that I am currently recovering from. I'm going to leave some links in the description below of websites you can use to block gambling, people you can talk to, whatever. If you feel you need to do it, you know, it's not a shameful thing. Just get it done. Start moving on with your life. Be the best person you can be. And if you enjoy these types of videos, you know, subscribe, like, do all that shite, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you're enjoying them. There's another video here you can watch. I always forget about that. There's one here. YouTube thinks that you might enjoy it. You know, I'm on the grind. There's one there. It's there, mate. All right. More videos soon.